Hello everyone, welcome to the Darwin's Room channel. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Really appreciate your guys' support as always. Today we're going to be talking about Final Destination Bloodlines. I think this is the 6th film in the franchise, and it seems like they're coming for a revival of the franchise. I'm really excited about it. And so I was really looking forward to seeing this movie. I've always been a casual fan of the Final Destination franchise. I wouldn't say I'm like a big time fan, but I've always been a casual fan. I enjoy them. Some are more clever than others. Some, are just more entertaining than others, but in general, they're really enjoyable films. So when I saw that they were gonna revive this franchise and continue to give us this content, I was really looking forward to checking it out, and especially once I started seeing all of the tremendously great reviews that were coming out from it, I had to come and see it and check it out. So nonetheless, I went to go see this movie. Really, it's a good movie. I really enjoyed it. I don't think I enjoyed it as much as I was hoping I would. The story is well done. You know, they do some cool things as it kind of approaches a new generation and puts you in this element where they're having to fight for their survival. They're kind of this estranged family, and you feel for them in that way. And so they do a good job of pulling on the heartstrings in little minute ways, nothing major, but in enough ways to make you care just a little bit more and kind of get you more invested. I also really appreciated that the characters were likable. There were some that you thought were gonna be unlikable, but they actually end up being, like one of them in particular, he ended up being my favorite character in the film. And so they do a good job of making the characters entertaining and kind of reeling you in rather than being, some of them where they're just annoying and you want them to take the L, so to speak. But I didn't get that. I feel like they all did a good job. They wrote the characters in a way that felt likable and engaging, and it just made me feel that much more connected to the film. So I really enjoyed that. I appreciated that. In terms of the outrageous sequences where one small detail leads to the next big thing, as you can imagine, it is fun, it is exciting, it's outrageous, it's crazy, and it's a lot of dumb fun, and they do a really solid job with it. However, I don't think they ever reached the level of iconic sequences that the originals were able to put together. Like, I remember a scene in a pool that traumatized me, and it made me kind of freaked out about pools growing up. And then, of course, the one where you're driving behind a semi-truck with the logs on it, that's an iconic one. Roller coasters, iconic. The originals were able to kind of instill that so effortlessly. And I didn't feel like there was any sequences here that accomplished that same iconic type of irrational fear, where it was gonna invoke this sense of irrational thoughts, of like, why are we so scared of these minute, simple things? So I was hoping to see if they could continue that and reinvent that wheel and kind of add a couple more elements to it for new generations that are gonna start becoming Final Destination fans with this installment. And again, it's still good. I think it's still really enjoyable, and I think a lot of fans are gonna enjoy it and appreciate it. And I think a lot of new audiences are gonna come to really, appreciate this franchise as a part of the horror genre. So all in all, it is successful, it is well done, but I don't think it meets the same level, as the originals, for me personally. But I do admit, maybe I'm just going off of my nostalgic memory. Maybe I'm just thinking they're better than what they were. So I do need to rewatch the first 5 films and see if they're as good as I remember them being, or maybe they are hot garbage, it's tough to say. So I will rewatch those, and then I'll come out soon with a ranking of the films. If you guys would like, let me know in the comments down below. Let me know your thoughts, leave me your thoughts down there. And I would love to do a ranking if that's something that you guys would be interested in. I do have to say it was really cool to see Tony Todd back in this role. I pray that he rests in peace. It was really cool. I heard that his final line in this scene that Tony Todd is in was unscripted, that the directors just told him to say something for the fans here. And I thought it was really heartfelt, and it was a great way to kind of wrap up his character, but also felt like a nice message from him for the fans. So I thought that that was really nice, and I really like how they incorporated that without compromising the story or feeling like they were breaking a fourth wall or something like that. I think it was a really great way to honor Tony Todd as an actor and to honor the fans of the franchise, especially fans of his character in the franchise. So I think that that was cool how they weaved that together. And Tony Todd, he was just such a legendary actor and voice actor with such a powerful voice and a powerful presence on the screen. So it was really lovely to see him again at least one more time. I believe with this being his final film that he was able to do. Correct me if I'm wrong, if there's anything else coming out, I'd love to, watch it. However, I will say some of the editing was a bit odd, like especially the voice editing in the scene with Tony Todd in it. I don't know if anyone else caught it, but I felt like the lips weren't matching up with the audio. I don't know if it was maybe just my theater showing, but something felt off throughout that. And then the movie itself, like visually, it looks a little too polished, like almost too clean. I don't know, it took me out of it, whereas I feel like the originals had a bit more of a grungy look to it from what I remember, which made it feel, even though the special effects were awful at the time, it made it feel a little bit more authentic, whereas this looks so polished and CGI'd that it doesn't feel authentic and therefore kind of takes you out of the experience. So I didn't, again, this is going off of my nostalgic memories, so I could be remembering those previous movies to be better than what they were, and maybe they weren't. That's entirely a possibility. But I would say in general, it's on par. Like I said, I'm a casual fan of the first 5 films of the franchise. I wouldn't say I'm a huge fan or anything like that, but I'm a casual fan. I've always enjoyed them. I've had fun with them. I've maybe seen them all twice, just over time. Binged it 2 different times in my life. But I can't remember it that well because it has been some time. So I'm gonna need to rewatch those, give an updated ranking and updated ratings for each of them, and I'll let you guys know my thoughts. But as for Final Destination Bloodlines, this was a great sequel, a great way to revive the franchise, and hopefully bring new audience members to the fan base and continue to bring some, really creative and fun scenarios that can hopefully, give people some irrational trauma, of why am I afraid of this very simple thing. I'd be really curious to see what they can continue to do with it if they choose to keep it going and make more and more after this Bloodlines, which seems to be performing well from what I've been seeing. So yeah, maybe there's a possibility yet for it, and that would be great. So Final Destination Bloodlines, I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5 stars. It's an average movie, it's enjoyable, you'll like it. If you like the other Final Destination films, you'll probably enjoy this one just fine. If you're stepping into it as a newcomer, you'll probably enjoy it just fine as well. I don't think these types of movies are for everyone, of course, but I think that they're entertaining, kind of turn your brain off, have some dumb fun, let yourself enjoy the outrageousness of it. It is very self-aware in that way. So I think that's something that across all of them you can really appreciate, is that it's self-aware, it knows it's ridiculous, but it's gonna go with it, and it's gonna give you something memorable to walk out of the theater with. So I've always appreciated that about these movies, so I would give this one a 3 out of 5 stars. I'm gonna rewatch the other ones. I'll give you guys a ranking soon, but that is my thoughts, or those are my thoughts on Final Destination Bloodlines. Have you guys watched it yet? What did you think of it? Did you enjoy it? Did you not like it? Are you a big fan of the Final Destination franchise? Did this live up to your expectations? Did it let you down? I'd be curious to hear your guys' thoughts, so please feel free to let me know in the comments down below what you thought of this movie, what you think of this franchise, and would you like to see more? Or do you think they should have pulled the plug a long time ago? Let me know your guys' thoughts. I'd be curious to hear. God bless you guys all. Thank you guys so much for tuning in for another episode here on the channel of Darwin's Room. Take care.